Good morning. It's so good to see you again. It's even better to be with you, I was listening to the announcements. Now, this is just some kind of spurious thing. He talked about somebody's barbecue. I thought he said Imam's barbecue, and I thought, well, we have converted a Muslim. But that's not the name of it, is it?
No, it's called Big Mama's.
Okay. I thought it was an error in my hearing, but I'm down for that. All right, enough of that foolishness. As you get older, you have those things. You just have these moments of whatever. A Sunday ago, I'd been involved in a study of a part of the life of Joseph. And I was teaching a class, and the more I read it over and over and over and over, there's more to this than meets the eye of a child's Sunday school lesson. So much more. The more I read it, I had to quit reading so as not to be here till 1 o'clock this afternoon. Because it is so rich in what it says about God's faithfulness. It's in the Old Testament, but it's a New Testament truth because God never changes. God is not Old Testament except in His commitment to certain testaments. But as far as age, God has no age. He has no beginning. He has no end. Everything He does is current in the lives of people, and it's always based on who He is and His perfect, eternal character and His faithfulness. In the Old Testament, I guess the title today is When Interruptions Happen. They happen in life. You make your plans, and I'm talking about a well-trodden path for every one of us, and every one of us who has been down maybe 1,000,000 miles of emotional and life's paths. In this life, some of those paths were before we were saved. I remember them, but I don't like to ponder on those. Those were dangerous paths. It was a slow walk into some quicksand. A quicksand, as an American, that millions of Americans go under and they never come back up. They are sucked under by the power of sin. And I can reflect on my path. I know where some of it was going. I will not tell you where it was going because it scares me. It frightens me. But in 1968, I was saved in my bedroom. I don't know where you were saved, but it was about the same time. God's Spirit filled a little bedroom in a little ancient house in Wilsonville, Illinois. I was saved in my bedroom. And my path changed. It changed because God changed me on the inside by giving me His life But there have been interruptions, we'll call it. I don't like using that word. That was the title of the lesson that we were discussing. I like to think of them as incidents to pay attention to and learn from. Joseph, the dreamer, we know the story. He has got so many brothers. That is a blended family. There are 4 mothers involved in this blended family. Joseph and Benjamin came from his father's dearly beloved sweetheart. The others came from the help of other maidens. Let's just put it like that. Concubines and helpers of Rebekah. And then there were helpers of helpers. It was crazy. That's trouble. That breeds trouble. You remember David's dad, he said, David, I need you to go check on your brothers. David had a lot of brothers, all of them older than him. Well, David knew where they were. There was this conflict between Israel and the Philistines, which was not an uncommon thing. He goes out there, bring them some lunch. His brothers see him coming. Does that bring something to mind about Joseph's brothers? What does he want? Hey, little brother, you come out here to be nosy? Go back to your sheep. You're a sheep herder. You stink. You won't even be welcome in the temple. You're nothing. You and your ruddy complexion. We've got some issues here. To go into David's life, it did not affect where God wanted him to go. It didn't. It didn't stop him anywhere. Now, for young people nowadays, they would call in the counselors at school, wouldn't they? Because his little self had been damaged. Don't call his parents. Let the state handle this child. Because they're probably religious. And they'll want to pray over him. We've got our own psychologists and sociologists that we worship. We'll help this little lad whose self-worth has been challenged. David was called out of the field. Don't you have another son? I mean, he's you don't want to see him. And the brothers are thinking, no, not David. God says, I need to see David. Get the lad in here. Now, I don't know what is going through his older brothers' minds, but it's not good. I think they have a clue where this is heading. He's the one who's going to be the king of Israel. Israel's never had a king before. The judges didn't work. They never would like the prophets. And remember Moses, when you go into the land that I'm not going to, you will ask for a king. You'll get a king, and you get a lot more kings. And then Moses said, here's what kings will do to you. They will grab your sons and slam them in the military. And behind that statement is, a lot of you are going to lose your sons. Tens of thousands of your sons and husbands will die because you don't want me as your king, as a nation. David would become king. Now here we have Joseph. We're in Genesis, chapter 37. Verse 1. God bless your word today for Christ's sake, for your glory. Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger, a sojourner in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob, whom we would know as Israel. We go straight to Joseph. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren. The lad was with the sons of Bilhah and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives, and Joseph brought unto his father their evil report. Joseph had been sent to check on the brothers. You know, brothers need to get checked on. Moms and dads want to know what their sons are doing. They need to know. Brothers can get in trouble. Now, Ronnie and I never got in trouble. No. Except one time, Ronnie got caught drag racing the Mustang. Jim Donaldson. His dad had bought a bright red Ford Fairlane with a 302. Jim Donaldson knows we've got a maroon 66 Mustang Fastback with a 289. He doesn't know it's got a racing cam and a big 4-barrel. Ron beat him. But as would have it, there was an evil report. One of the young men who had graduated way ahead of us worked for our father at Olin Corporation. He happened to play drums in our band a little bit. He's in the carpool with my dad and some other men. He said, "Ken, that Mustang beat Jim Donaldson's new car." He said, and Dad said, "Oh, he did. Oh, he did, didn't he?" The Mustang was sold. Bad report on brother. I didn't have to do anything except know that the driveway was vacant. A bad report. That was just the beginning for Joseph. Joseph was doing what he was told to do. I don't know if he ever had motives against his older brothers, his step brothers. But all of a sudden, Joseph has these dreams. We are so familiar with these dreams. This is so important. This just makes the angst in these guys. Hey guys, you here? In a nutshell, you too, Dad, y'all gonna be falling on your face in front of me one day. Oh boy. That tied the knot right there. And Dad didn't even like that. But the scriptures say he pondered on that. Because these were dreams. Dreams were important back then. But the brothers didn't like it at all. Joseph In verse 12, his brethren went to feed the father's flock at Shechem. And Israel, or Jacob, said to Joseph, do not thy brethren feed the flock at Shechem? Come, I will send you unto them. And he said to him, here am I. And he said to him, go, I pray thee, see whether everything's okay with your brethren and well with the flocks, and bring me word again. So he sent him out of the vale of Hebron, and he came to Shechem. A certain man found him, and behold, he was just wandering around in the field, and the man said, who do you seek? What are you looking for? I'm looking for my brethren. Tell me, please. Where are they feeding their flocks? He said, they departed from here. I heard them say, let's go to Dothan. Joseph went after his brethren and found them in Dothan. And when the brothers saw him afar off. Now remember, we already know where Joseph is going to end up at. They don't know. Nobody knows but God. So everybody's in the dark. All we know is that the brothers know they despise him, all 10 of them, to different degrees. They conspired against Joseph to kill him. And they said to one another, behold, this dreamer comes. Come now, therefore, let us slay him and cast him into some pit. And we will say to their father, some evil beast has devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams. Reuben, God bless Reuben. I promise you, he's not the perfect guy, but he is the oldest of the stepsons. And Reuben, and delivered him out of their hands. Let us not kill him. Shed no blood. Cast him into this pit. It's in the wilderness. Don't lay a hand on him, that he might rid him out of their hands to deliver him to his father. And it came to pass, Joseph was come to his brethren. They stripped Joseph of his coat of many colors that was on him. They took him, threw him into a pit. It was empty. There was no water in it. And they sat down to eat. They lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, here is a company of Ishmaelites from Gilead with their camels, bearing spices and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. These people happened to be Arabs from a lady named Hagar. And we will know who Hagar was. That's what you do when you don't do things God's way. They're going to Egypt. Judah said unto his brethren, what profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Let's sell him to the Ishmaelites. Let our hand not be on him. For he is our brother. He is our flesh. And his brethren were content. Then there passed by Midianites, merchantmen. They drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit, sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, and they brought Joseph to Egypt. Reuben had left for a while. He returned to the pit. Joseph was not in the pit, and he's ripping his clothes off, as they do. He returned to his brethren and said, "The child is gone. Where am I going to go? What am I going to do?" They took Joseph's coat, killed a kid of the goats, dipped it in the blood. They sent the coat of many colors and brought it to their father and said, "This is what we found, Dad. We're not sure if it is your son's or not. These guys are cold. Dad, we're not sure if it's your boy or not." You know, you and Rebecca's boy, your favorite boy, coat of many colors, the dreamer. All we found is this bloody garment. Have you ever heard in the 20th century and the 21st century on the evening news of that kind of hate in families? Front page news. Front page news. This is nothing new. Comes from the same source. It's cold. It's cold. It's my son's coat. An evil beast has devoured him. Joseph is without doubt. He's torn in pieces. Jacob tore his clothes. He put sackcloth on his loins. He mourned for his son many days. All his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted, said, "For I will go down to the grave unto my son mourning." And his father wept. The Midianites sold him into Egypt unto Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh and a captain of the guard. All right, we know the story, but every time you read it, it's fresh. They're doing crocodile tears. This man, a part of him is dying on the inside. God will not be thwarted. Remember that. These interruptions, if God has got a plan for one of His children, His sons or daughters, interruptions don't matter. They're hard on us when we go through them. Amen? They hurt. You know, I've had an interruption. My wife is gone. Some of you have lost people like that. I'm fully aware of that. And my loss and pain is no worse than anybody else's that loved somebody. If I quit and it were possible, my wife would come back and jerk a knot in my scrawny tail. I'm serious. She said, "Randy, not going to happen. That's not the man I married." There are challenges. But within those challenges, they're not for nothing. Well, I'll be glad when this is over. It's going to be over when it's over. What are you going to do in the middle of the challenge? Deal with it and find out what is in this that needs to help me be more like Christ and get the flesh out of me. All right, I'm in a pit. I've got time to ponder what God wants to do and what is out there waiting for an obedient son. Joseph is being taken away, and as far as this young man knows, I'm never going to see Jacob again. Never going to see him. I'm never going to see Rebecca again. I'm never going to see my little brother. I understand that. He's in the middle of it. He's been dealt a cruel blow. But he's in a place that has been prepared for him. Now, he doesn't know it. But remember this. God has gifted this young man for such a time as this. Anybody else would not come through it like Joseph is going to come through it, because God has to have him somewhere else. Because God has a plan that started before eternity. The cross. He needs a people delivered. It's Joseph. It's Joseph. Joseph just acts like Joseph. He takes orders. Potiphar, like a good boss. A good boss looks for newcomers who are going to be good for the business. They're always watching. Is this guy good for the company? I like the way he's worked. I like his attitude. I only have to say it once. I check his work. Immaculate. This kid will go somewhere. I'll see to it. I'm going to give you more responsibility. Anybody ever been there? Every believer needs to be looked upon like that. They should never be an embarrassment. Never. I don't care if you're a coal miner. You've proven yourself and said, son, we got something that needs to be done deep. I mean, where nobody wants to go. In the famous word of God's young men, here am I. It's me. Send me in there. Let me know. Joseph, I'm giving you control over my household. Everything. You see that it gets done. I trust you, son. I don't care if you are a Hebrew. Egyptians don't like Hebrews. But this guy's valuable. He said, don't mess with my wife. Now, I'm going to say something here. Because we know what's going to happen. This life he's in is like any other soap opera in life, in the word of law. This man knows his wife. She's a gold digger. She's never been true to him, I promise you. But don't mess with her. I don't think I'm wrong, people. I just don't think I'm wrong. Because she let her heart be seen over and over and over. She was relentless. Ma'am, no. Your husband has given me everything in here except you. I can't do this. It would be a sin against God. Not to mention your husband. He puts God first in this interruption in life. This was this particular interruption. If he'd have done wrong, you know what happens when that goes wrong, don't you? We've seen it. Doesn't mean God can't redeem situations. But Joseph can't do that because God has got two people in serious trouble in Pharaoh's administration, a baker and a cupbearer, that need to get in touch with Joseph, the dreamer. Joseph's going to Potiphar's prison. Well, there's Joseph with all his giftedness. He's crying. You know he's crying. How bad can it get? He had it made. Every now and then it was okay. He didn't think about Dad and Mom so much. Now he's in. You older people remember that old country song? He's in the jailhouse now. I heard that the other day. It looks like it's getting dark for God's man. Joseph is so gifted, he can't help himself. The head guard, he's watching him. He said, this kid's got something. I'd like to get home on time. Hey, you. How about I make life a little easier for you? I know you're down here, but how about I help you make the most of this? I'm going to put you in charge down here. You keep everything straight down here, okay? Now I'm going to milk that cow for everything it's worth. I think his food got better. I think the liquid got better. The attitude toward him got better. Because he's God's kid. He's got to get somewhere. Well, here are these two guys, the cupbearer and the baker. We don't know what they did. One of them, his whole life, is possibly one day to drink poison that was meant for the boss. We don't know what the thing is with the bread maker. Well, here comes the dreamer. And they went to him. Joseph, what's this dream, man? Joseph, I had a dream too. Joseph tells them, in the midst of an interruption in life, remember, every minute Joseph is in this has 60 seconds, 60 minutes to every hour, 24 hours a day. We can read through it in 90 seconds. But Joseph is living the life just like we live the life in the interruptions and the hard ones. We live every second, every memory, every pain, every regret. But as sons and daughters of God, we don't pull a white flag out of the closet. There's no surrender. Because God's got a plan for your life and for mine. I'm just not dropping out of the scene. I've got life and breath in this old body. I have the same message as was given to me in 1968 is the gospel. I can't quit until I stop breathing and my heart stops pumping. You can't either, and I suspect you won't. I know your leaders. I know your hearts. You don't know what the next interruption is going to be. You cry through it. You ache and pain through it. But God will get you out of it. He will deliver you through and out another door into where you need to be. I promise. One of these guys is rejoicing, and the other one is hung by the neck. The dreamer. He said, when you get up there, remember me. Tell Pharaoh what a good guy I've been. I've been a good prisoner. I'm innocent. You know how you've seen me? Say, okay, I'm out of here. Well, that guy's still working for Pharaoh. And God's boy is still in the midst of this. He's in the middle of it. Wouldn't you know it? Pharaoh is having some bad dreams. They're ugly. They're freakish. We got this growing. And we got this growing. This is eating this one. That's a nightmare. Somebody wake me up. They didn't think like that. Dreams were important. He's called every magician and smarty pants he knows. Every one of them is thinking, boy, if I can interpret these dreams for the boss, I'm set for life. You know how that goes working in companies, don't you? They don't know what to do with it. All of a sudden, Mr. Pharaoh, there's this guy named Joseph. He's down in Potiphar's prison. He interprets dreams. Let me tell you what he did. He said, I was going to live, and you know who was going to die. He said, get him. I want him now. I want him here. I don't care if he's a Hebrew. I've got to know what this means. I'm Pharaoh. I'm right up there with Ra, the sun god. I want him. They bring him up there. And Pharaoh greets him. And apparently Pharaoh's treating him all right. I hear that you can tell me what's going on in my head. I hear that you can help me. I need to know the truth. I must. Joseph tells him, what do I do with this? Joseph says, here's what you need to do. For this many years, you have got to store up the abundance of crops that are going to happen. They are going to happen. Because you're going to get the equal amount of years where nothing you can eat is going to grow. We're going to store it up, and the world is going to come to you. If I may say this, Pharaoh, they're going to look at you and they're going to rise up and call you blessed because you're going to feed them. You're going to feed them, and they're going to be happy. This is a good thing for you, for your administration. Joseph, you're in charge. You are in charge. There's nobody greater in my world than you but me. Make it happen, son. Pharaoh walks off. This has been a long interruption here. He doesn't know that he's going to get to see Dad. I don't, correct me, brother. I don't think he knows much about those initial dreams until his brothers come in and face plant in front of him. I don't think he knew. All he knew was that this is where he was. This is where the God he obeyed had him, and he was over this. And the dreams that God had given him, that had cost him years away from his dad, from his mother, from his little brother, and all of his brothers. He missed these guys that despised him. He is homesick to the depths of his soul. But he has remained true. Folks, it's easy for me to say this. How can we even imagine what has occurred to him on the inside? What maybe little calluses he's had to let cover the hurt in him, how he missed. I missed his family. He missed them so much. Who was his great-grandfather? Abraham? What a lineage! What a lineage! He knows about Jehovah. He knows about Yahweh. He knows about Adam and Eve. He knows about what sin is and how it began. He is a real human being. But God has prepared him for this, even though all of this is happening. Let me read something I wrote down from Alistair Begg. Maybe you have heard his Bible teachings. He's a Scottish man. He's good. He stays between the covers of the Bible. Our single acts of obedience are like drops of rain, watering the soil. No, these are my thoughts. Let me go to Alistair. I don't know if mine will be as good. Be careful to faithfully obey even the seemingly inconsequential. Yeah, that's him. I can't use that word. To obey the seemingly inconsequential instructions of God. For obedience to His command is always right. And we never know beforehand how He will use it. Now, I will complete my thought after listening to him. Our single acts of obedience are like drops of rain, watering the soil to prosper seeds that have been faithfully sown. Also, our singular acts of obedience are like a stone cast into a body of water, a pond or a lake, creating waves, motion in the water, affecting unseen things, observable things, creatures, mosquito larvae, frog eggs. It wakes things up. That one stone in that body of water. Cast your sacrificial offering. We'll call it bread. The bread of faithfulness on the water, mixed with real faith. It will return to us in manifold ways that will glorify God. Cast your bread upon the water. The Imperials Quartet sang a song about that. Oh, what a song. Cast your bread upon the water. Just cast it. Cast it on the water. That sacrifice of your obedience, God will do things with it that we never dreamed. We may not know about. Sometimes like Joseph. There have been things in my life I didn't see the reasoning behind it. I didn't have a clue. But there I was. I was in it. My first thought, how do I get out of this? I thought, no, here's where I am. I want to always recognize where God has put me every day. If I get worried about and get this tunnel vision, and there's people around here that are waiting to see what they don't know, but they need to see life, real life. Life that is actually light because they're in darkness. Y'all have studied Ephesians to no end, haven't you? It's all about dark and light. Walk in the light. You are the light. You were darkness. Now you are light. Light shows everything. We live in a dark world. What is darkness? It's the absence of light. What is light? It's the absence of darkness. Man, that's powerful. I want to light up this life. I want to light up where I work. I don't always like this prison I work in. Bless God, that's where you are. Light up that prison. Light up your Potiphar's house. All of a sudden, you're up the chain of command. Don't get the big head. Light up to where you've been elevated for God. Light it up, because those who will receive the light will bless you in Jesus' name. Those who hate the light you put forth will curse you to your face. May I say Charlie Kirk? Joseph was light because the light was in him. It was in him. Then his dreams. Oh, gee. Here come his brothers. Oh, now he's reflecting. But his heart, he has to leave the room. He has to do all kind of manipulations. I've got to get the rest of them here. I've got to see Benjamin, for crying out loud. I've got to see Dad. Got to. It's taken time. But he gets them there. When he reveals himself to his brothers, is that not rejoicing in tears? They're scared to death. It's me, guys. Oh, they're waiting for their heads to come off. He says, no, I've missed you so much. Come here. I want to hug you. I want to hold you. Never in their dark minds would they expect a human being to embrace them after what they had done. I don't want to go any longer because it's long. I'm not through. Folks, I have never found the bone in this chunk of meat. I have not. It's a message of encouragement. There are those here who have, God willing, many more years. But as we look around, some of these years may not be pleasant in the world we live in. But if God lets you live, you're a believer. Your years are His years to put you where you must be. To be light. to be light. Look, this thing's going to happen. We're not going to change at the voting booth. I've already said, by the grace of God, I'm down with that. I'm ready. I want to tell these godless people who I once was, I want to say, no, I'm telling you something. You're not going to shut me up. I'm telling you about Jesus Christ. No, I said yes. You're going to hear me out. Turn the microphone off. I can get loud, people. You're going to hear light. And then you do with me what you want. Because this is the interruption where God has put me. Folks, can you see I'm serious? I mean it. You do it. If everybody around you has been taken out, I'm still standing. Deal with Christ in me, because you will deal with him later. I pray God bless this word to encourage you, Ron.